This is the United States of America. It has the world's most powerful military, and it's not afraid to use it. From backing 85 regime changes to liberating a whole country in just 42 days, from having thousands of nuclear warheads to possessing a quarter of the world's aircraft carriers, the US, undoubtedly, is the world's premier military force. Sometimes, though, it can be a bit primitive. But to use rock music on a loop to overthrow a dictator? Let's go back to May 1989. Students are protesting oppressive communist regimes, superpowers are desperately trying to keep their influence on their neighbors, and a dictator is declaring an election null and saying that the election was rigged. Let's focus on that last one. That dictator is Manuel Noriega, and the election was the 1989 Panamanian general election. He was the man pulling all the strings in Panama, the dictator, and the general election was for electing the legislature and president. There were two coalitions, one that was pro-Noriega, the dictator, and one that was anti-Noriega. The anti-Noriega faction won in a 43-point landslide. Now, if you know how dictators behave, they don't like losing elections. What do you do when you don't like to accept the fact that you lost the election? You say the election was rigged, of course. So Noriega declared the election fraudulent and annulled the election. He claimed that the US meddled in the election and that his faction was the real winner. But wait, there's more! On December 15th, 1989, Panama's new National Assembly, who were handpicked by Noriega, voted Noriega as the maximum leader of Panama. Not content with seizing power, he decided to do what most people would consider an extremely smart move. He declared war on the United States of America. Yes, the United States of America. The country that spends over $500 billion on their military, the country with the largest GDP in the entire world, the country that still stubbornly uses the imperial system, and Panama, a country with a population of less than 2.5 million people in 1989, declared war on the United States of America. Needless to say, it didn't end well for Noriega. The next day, Noriega's military fired at a group of unarmed American soldiers on their way to get dinner, killing one lieutenant. Oh, and they harassed American citizens that watched this happen. Then President George H.W. Bush did not like this. 4 days later, with the largest military force since the Vietnam War, America invaded Panama. They wanted to find Noriega, but it wasn't for the death of that lieutenant. No, this was for some racketeering and drug trafficking charges. This Noriega guy seems like a nice guy, right? As you can expect, he ran away. He hid in the Vatican's embassy. Since the military couldn't enter the embassy, that would violate international law, they resorted to other methods. Like carrying loudspeakers and blasting rock music at full volume 24/7. Noriega preferred opera, so this must have been unpleasant for him. Some of the songs played were Panama from Van Halen, Danger Zone from Kenny Loggins, Refugee from Tom Petty, and Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. However, after 3 days, the embassy told him to stop. The US military stopped. Then the embassy threatened to effectively leave him, Noriega, and so Noriega surrendered himself. The US military's music torture unfortunately didn't work, but it does make for a good video topic. And there's more. The CIA, when torturing terrorists, play songs from children's shows on repeat. For example, songs from Barney and the theme song from Sesame Street are a few that have been used. So that's how the US military uses music to torture people, like the dictator of Panama. If you liked the video, then be sure to subscribe and like. If you didn't like the video, then press the dislike button twice, and then, for good measure, press the like button. Thank you for watching Explained. New videos every other Friday.